fiery crash on Saskatoon's north end, what is now being investigated as a critical incident. Forced from their homes, how residents faced with flooding are being brought to safety. And a close call along a Saskatchewan roadway for one driver and his passenger.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a serious crash in Saskatoon's north end this morning that shut down part of Idylwyld Drive for several hours. A man was sent to hospital with critical injuries after his vehicle was hit by another vehicle fleeing from police. Our Carla Shinkarik was at the scene and has more.
This was what traffic in the north end of the city faced during the morning commute. The northbound lane of Idylwyld Drive near 58th Street was closed after a serious collision that started with a police pursuit. Corman Park police said an officer attempted to stop a vehicle for a driving complaint on Highway 11. The driver fled, driving erratically southbound before crossing the median into oncoming northbound traffic. The vehicle had been reported stolen from Prince Albert. Police say the suspect vehicle, a black Durango SUV, collided with a northbound vehicle, this cargo van, which then caught fire. The driver of the van, an 82-year-old male, suffered serious injuries and was taken to hospital in critical condition. Comments, photos and videos were quickly posted to social media. Drivers passing by heading to work tell us what they saw.
As I came down, turned in front of Princess Auto to the Idylwyld service road here, there was just a big cloud of smoke.
I saw smoke on the road on the way and obviously started looking. Just plumes of black smoke.
I was able to drive past it and you could feel the heat from that far away.
Emergency crews responded quickly.
As I got closer, there was Corman Park police were already kind of blocking the traffic coming down Idylwyld. And then there was the big Durango. It was all damaged up there in the ditch.
After that, all the fire trucks showed up and started putting the fire out.
Saskatoon police say 3 people have been taken into custody. Charges are pending. Northbound lanes were reopened Tuesday afternoon.
I hope everyone's okay. I didn't think anyone would be walking away from that kind of crash.
The Serious Incident Response Team is looking for anyone that witnessed this collision to contact them to help with the investigation. Carla Shinkarik, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Now to the flooding situation in Saskatchewan. Floodwaters are now forcing hundreds of people from their homes. As CTV's Stacey Hine tells us, some Saskatchewan families and First Nation communities are under evacuation and finding creative ways to get to safety.
This is Sierra Bassingthwaite's family farm near Tisdale. She says her family was forced to leave Monday morning, evacuating by boat as water surrounded their home and livelihood.
You're leaving everything. We don't know when we're going to go back home. All we have are the shirts on our back.
Meanwhile, members of Red Earth and Shoal Lake Cree Nations east of Nipawin are also being forced out by rising water.
This is the first time I've seen this flood. First time in my life that I've seen this area flood.
Nowakius Johnston is using a canoe and a shovel as a makeshift paddle to reach stranded residents. He then brings them to the local school gym, where they wait to be bussed out.
So those are the communities that are evacuated.
The city of Saskatoon says the Red Cross, which is assisting with evacuations, has notified it of about 1,000 evacuees, with final numbers unclear as some head to Prince Albert, adding it's coordinating with community partners.
We have to work with our community partners to provide their healthcare supports or their recreational supports, any safety supports they might need. And it's really looking to the community leadership on what they'd like to see happening here in Saskatoon for their community.
In the meantime, Bassingthwaite says the uncertainty is taking a toll.
We're just going to play it day by day because that's all we can really do.
The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says as of late Monday afternoon, 26 communities have declared a local state of emergency. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Flooding across the province is causing damage to many roads and highways. For one man and his passenger, it was a close call as the road they were traveling on collapsed because of the excess water. Hallie Mandrick has that story.
This dramatic sight on Highway 335 is the result of flood damage experienced by Austin Martinyuk, who was driving home on the highway Saturday night when suddenly he hit a wave of water. He and a passenger in a vehicle that was trapped in a flooded and collapsed road as his car began filling up with water.
And next thing you know, I feel a big smash because I went off into the ditch. And that's when I looked over at my buddy Rob, trying to make sure that he's okay, trying to figure out what happened. I open up my door and I just see nothing but like floodwater going straight down.
Driving behind Martignac, his colleague Claude Cousson saw the trouble up ahead.
We're going and going and going. It's like, holy mackerel. Slammed the brakes because, and all of a sudden I saw Austin walking in the water. And I looked at my arm and said, that's Austin. Yeah, he's coming in like water's right to his knees.
Martignac and his passenger were able to get out of the vehicle with minor injuries thanks to quick thinking.
By the time I was getting my stuff out of the back seat, I noticed that the driver's side was starting to flood with water, and that's when I thought, this is too dangerous, can't get anything else, just get out of Dodge,
Many highways across the province have been closed due to flooding damage. However, 335 was open at the time of the incident. It can be difficult to see a washed-out road or highway in rural areas at night. According to the Ministry of Highways, it's all hands on deck to ensure drivers are safe.
We do have barricades up, we have flag persons out there, and we also have ministry employees that are out in the highways as well. Directing motorists, through the night hours, some of them are working 24/7, trying to make sure all of our motorists are safe.
Martignac says he's hopeful that sharing his experience will encourage others to drive with extra caution during this time of year.
I had my high beams on, but even then, the dark country roads, even with the high beams on, you can't tell what's water and what's solid until it's too late.
Adding advice to always check the highway hotline before hitting the road.
My dad always says, chance favors the prepared mind. So always take the extra couple seconds just to check.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The RM of Corman Park has implemented a fire ban to mitigate the risk of recent dry conditions on wildfires. The ban, which is effective this morning at 9, has been implemented in Divisions 1, 7, and 8. Outdoor fires must be put out, and new outdoor fires are prohibited, which include fire pits, burn barrels, controlled burns, and fireworks. It does not apply to internal household fireplaces or outdoor propane or natural gas pits, barbecues, or fire tables. Fires lit by fire protection organizations for training or prevention are allowed with proper approvals. The RM says the ban will remain in effect until conditions approve. So some areas could use some moisture, others, of course, not. Lots of people looking at the forecast, though.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any in between there, Chantel, because as you were saying, I know we were talking to one of our viewers out in the Corrobert area, and they're saying pretty dry out there as well. So yes, some places it's quite dry, and other places just inundated with too much water. We're keeping our eye on that low pressure center, but the good news is it continues to move eastward, and as it moves eastward, we have some of the warmer air from British Columbia starting to make its way into Alberta and Saskatchewan. So we're going to start to warm up tomorrow. Not a big hot day tomorrow, but temperatures will be warming up, and we'll talk more about those specific numbers later on.
A 42-year-old man has been charged with the homicide of a 77-year-old woman over the weekend. On Friday night, police were called to a report of an injured person in the 200 block of Avenue R South. When they got there, they found the body of 77-year-old Dory Cook. The accused has been charged with second-degree murder. No other details about Dory Cook's death have been released. Saskatchewan's Serious Incident Response Team has found no wrongdoing following an in-custody death almost a year ago. CERT says the morning of May 6th, RCMP responded to a 44-year-old man in Melfort who was acting erratically and had an injury to his hand. He had broken a window of a home believing it was on fire. He was under arrest under the Mental Health Services Act and taken to cells where he was assessed by paramedics. He was then taken to hospital where he was again behaving erratically, and there was a physical struggle with one of the RCMP officers. The suspect was then taken back to the RCMP detachment where he later went into medical distress and became unresponsive. An autopsy showed the man died from acute cocaine toxicity with severe coronary artery hardening being a contributing factor. CERT has concluded there was no grounds to believe an offense was committed by the responding officers in the case. People coming together in Saskatoon today to mark Red Dress Day. The day is held annually on May 5th, the day to bring awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. Community leaders gathered at the Cosmos Civic Centre to mark the day. During today's gathering, stories of generational trauma were shared. A member of the community also shared her experience with addiction and gang life and her choice to chart a new path for herself and her family.
My message to the youth today is it's okay to heal. We need to change the narrative. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out when you're in a situation. And so how do we heal our communities together collectively instead of, remaining in the dark, ignoring the cries for help, ignoring the injustices that are happening across our province? And so my thought, anytime that I speak, it's always to encourage people to speak.
The event wrapped up this afternoon in partnership with Saskatoon Police, leading residents on a walk guided by knowledge keepers, traditional drumming, and smudging. We are hearing from business owners following a decision by council last week to give downtown transit another look. Keenan Sorokon on their concerns and why they aren't on board with what was proposed.
Nearly a week after City Council voted to pause plans for downtown bus lanes, Anthony Graham Cutts is hoping this gives the city time to give it a more detailed look.
I think the concept's great, but the implementation is sorely lacking, and the amount of space that they've decided that they need to take up for it is way more than it needs to be.
Last week, City Council voted against dedicated bus lanes, reducing traffic to one lane in each direction from 20th Street to 25th Street along First Avenue. The concept plan looked at eliminating 61 parking stalls, and Graham Cutts is concerned police who are frequently in the area responding to emergencies will park on the curb and help the area become a bus mall of jaywalkers and loiterers, further stagnating any traffic.
Which is supposed to be the flagship shopping center in Saskatoon. It's not the best image right out front if we get that ripple effect that we did from the 23rd Street bus mall.
Ready Properties, which owns 11 downtown properties, worries the plan that was presented will further deter people from coming downtown rather than create a celebration it should be receiving.
Surely everyone can see if a project of this magnitude is receiving this much negative feedback, then is it really a good idea?
Now downtown businesses await answers to questions like where will police cars stop when responding to emergencies outside the mall? What are snow removal plans if there's nowhere to pile snow, and where will delivery trucks go?
Some of the information that we want are pretty important when it comes to safety and snow removal when we're talking about a main corridor coming through your downtown.
Administration didn't say how long it will take to bring back answers, but the route along First Avenue won't be considered again until their report is ready. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon Centre MLA Betty Nippy Albright has announced she will sit as an independent. In a social media post late this afternoon, Nippy Albright said the decision comes after a long reflection about how she can best serve her community. She added over time she's felt less supported and respected and can no longer support Carla Beck's NDP leadership in good conscience. Nippy Albright had been an NDP MLA since 2020, serving in various critical roles since she was elected. She is the only Indigenous woman in the legislature.
Yeah, I just was made aware of that after the session. I haven't had the opportunity to speak to Betty yet. I'll have that conversation with her tonight and be more prepared to answer questions on that tomorrow.
And we'll have more on this development in the days ahead. The provincial government has made carbon monoxide detectors mandatory in all multifamily buildings, introducing a new piece of legislation today. The new regulation was prompted by the December death of 11-year-old Henry Losco in a Regina apartment building and is named Henry's Law in his memory. Landlords will have until November to install CO detectors in all suites. The regulation was the result of a joint effort between the government and opposition in consultation with Henry Losco's family. The Saskatchewan government has passed new legislation allowing involuntary addictions treatment in certain extreme cases. The province has passed the Compassionate Intervention Act, allowing for involuntary addictions treatment in extreme cases. Officials say it's designed to help people with severe addictions who are unable to seek help due to serious health and safety risks. The process includes strict criteria and can be initiated through a court order, medical referral, or police intervention. Treatment ends once a person regains capacity with further support available voluntarily. The act is expected to come into full effect this fall. The government of Saskatchewan and the Pharmacy Association of Saskatchewan have developed a 3-year agreement to expand the scope of practice for local pharmacists. Coming into effect May 1st, the agreement includes further expansion of strep throat and ear infection services, enabling broader availability and timely access to care in the community, and provides more commitments to support minor ailments prescribed by pharmacists and chronic disease management services by pharmacy professionals. After winning the Eastern Conference Final over the weekend, the Prince Albert Raiders are preparing for the WHL Championship, which kicks off Friday against the Everett Silvertips. Jasmine Pelche has the story.
The Raiders returned to Prince Albert victorious after defeating the Medicine Hat Tigers in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final.
It's good to celebrate with everybody and give each other hugs and hold the trophy, look at the trophy, but at the end of the day, once we were out of the room, we knew the job wasn't finished and we're not done yet.
Riley Boychuk helped push the Raiders to victory, scoring twice, including the game winner, his second and third goals of the playoffs.
Got the last one there, and it's going to, goal for us to get the momentum back. But it's, that's everybody. That wasn't just me. I kind of been snake bitten a bit, and glad those two goals came.
The Raiders will head out again to face the Everett Silvertips in Game 1 of the Championship Series Friday. During the regular season, the teams only met once, with the game going to the Raiders 4-1. But the Prince Albert team has seen some changes to the lineup since, by trading to get Braden Coots and Brandon Gorzinski.
We only see each other once a year. Again, you put stock in the video and stock of previous games that were played, and we did see them once at the start of the season. So looking at that tape, but again, these are two teams that have changed from that date that we did play.
The regular season ended with the Raiders trailing the top-ranked Silvertips by 7 points. For the first time in this playoff run, the Raiders will be the underdog, needing to win at least one game on the road for a chance to win the series. The last time the Raiders won the WHL Championship was 2019. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
The government of Saskatchewan is mailing out a questionnaire to every household in the province to see what residents think about social media. Premier Scott Moe says the province's move on the topic will be shaped by the results of the survey. It asks if families would support social media limits for children and at what age, along with which social media platforms should be exempt. The government is encouraging everyone, regardless of whether or not they're a parent, to participate in the survey and mail it back by the end of June. A beloved business owner in Saskatoon has died. Larry Bobby, who founded Larry's Sports Exchange, died on Sunday. A post by his son remembers Larry fondly as not only a business owner, but also a father, a mentor, and someone who showed up for the people around him. Larry's Sports Exchange buys, sells, trades, and rents new and used equipment. Many customers saying over the years, Larry has helped get their children the equipment they need while also saving some money along the way. Still to come, the latest on efforts to help passengers stranded on a ship with Hantavirus. Also, the Prime Minister announces a new Governor General. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. A new chapter for Canada with the appointment of the next Governor General, Louise Arbour, former Supreme Court Justice, former United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. She comes to the regal post with an impressive and distinguished resume. Judy Trin reports.
In choosing Louise Arbour as Canada's next Governor General, the Prime Minister recognized her dedication to upholding the law.
It's a duty that calls for sound judgment, deep learning, and an unwavering commitment
to the rule of law.
The 79-year-old is a former Supreme Court justice who left her deepest mark on the global stage. She served as the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and prosecuted war crimes in international tribunals. Arbour secured a conviction against perpetrators of genocide in Rwanda and indicted the leader of the former Yugoslavia.
In 1999, in the middle of a war, she signed the indictment of a sitting head of state, Slobodan Milosevic, for crimes against humanity and violations of the laws of war.
The appointment comes as the U.S. undermines global institutions. This is a reminder of what sets Canada apart.
Above all, we all strive to provide for each other in a spirit of equality and generosity.
Arbour's deep resume may help Carney avoid his predecessor, Justin Trudeau's problematic choices. Julie Payette was accused of abusing Rideau Hall staff, while Mary Simon, the first Indigenous Governor-General, is not fluent in French. But in a constitutional monarchy, as the King's representative, Arbour may not get support in Quebec, even though she speaks French and was born in Montreal.
The symbol in itself carries the idea of Canadian unity, but democracy in Quebec also carries the idea of Quebec independence.
Separatist voices are also growing louder in Alberta. Arbour promises to be a unifying force.
I think there is a space for the Governor-General to be conducive of Canadian dialogue with respect to diverse. I've mentioned the diversity of our people, diversity of views, of opinions, of experiences, but all that, I think, in a spirit of respect and moving the country forward.
Louise Arbour will officially assume her role as Canada's 31st Governor-General in early June. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The World Health Organization now suspects there may have been human-to-human transfer of the Hantavirus aboard a cruise ship that is now sitting off the coast of Cape Verde. It says this adds to the concern of the passengers still on board the MV Hondius. 4 Canadians are among the 149 people on board the vessel. 3 passengers have died and at least 4 more have become ill. The World Health Organization is working under the assumption that there has been human-to-human spread of the virus, and the first people to become ill were possibly infected before they got on board the ship. Hantavirus is usually spread by contact with rodents or their urine or droppings, and while rare, it may spread between people. It's still not clear how the virus got on the ship. In the Middle East, the United States is pressing ahead with an operation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping.
There is no international law that allows you to say, I'm going to put mines in an international body of water and I'm going to blow up ships that don't listen to us and try to go through. That's what Iran is doing. This is a criminal act, and someone needs to do something about it.
Marco Rubio insists the effort to escort stranded tankers through the strait is defensive in nature. He says that means there is no shooting unless the Americans are shot at first. The U.S. says it has successfully secured a path through the waterway and that hundreds of ships are lining up to go through. The Americans insist the shaky ceasefire with Tehran is holding. Meantime, the United Arab Emirates reported that it was attacked by Iranian missiles and drones for a second straight day. In Ukraine, at least 22 people were killed and more than 80 others injured in another round of Russian attacks. The drone and missile strikes were carried out overnight and today. The Ukrainians say the Kremlin's main targets were energy facilities, oil and gas infrastructure, railways, and industrial sites. But the majority of casualties were civilians. The attacks also damaged homes, businesses, and transportation. Meanwhile, Ukraine kept up its long-range attacks on Russian areas, apparently going after more oil facilities. The fighting came hours before Kyiv is due to enact a ceasefire and 3 days before Moscow promised its own pause in hostilities. An iconic Vancouver landmark is being transformed ahead of the 2026 World Cup. This is what it will look like when it's finished. Science World will become the Beautiful Dome, a giant recreation of the original match ball. The work begins tomorrow and will take around 4 weeks to complete. The dome will host an exhibit called Soccer and Technology from the FIFA Museum, looking at how innovation has shaped soccer's evolution.
Yeah, the ball. It's still round.
It is.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, kind of neat. Something to look at.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Forecast-wise, we're just waiting for the warmth.
Waiting for the warmth, and it's still going to take at least one more day. Now, tomorrow, below seasonal temperatures, but manageable, and that's good news. So I think for a lot of people, and the other part of the good news, not as windy. So let's take a look and see what our numbers are like right now. 8 degrees in Saskatoon right now, 6 in Prince Albert, and 8 in the Battlefords. Winds are backing off a little bit in the Battlefords, but not so much for Saskatoon and Prince Albert. Still some relatively strong, sustained winds out of the north, so a bit of a cool wind there. On to our almanac for Saskatoon. So 8 degrees, that's our high for today. That is 8 degrees below seasonal. Typically, we should be around 16 degrees this time of early May. 32, that was the record warm temperature in 1992. The record cold temperature from a second day in a row from 2002. Minus 10 degrees. The sun came up at 5:29, and it's going to go down at 8:38.
Coming up, a stage show that is resonating with Saskatchewan audiences. A look at a unique performance that examines land claims and court battles.
There's a lot of talk about social media bans for kids. Wednesday on Your Morning, we're going more in depth with the province on how they plan to get your feedback and use it.
Okay, big blue sky, a relatively nice day, bit on the cool side, there's no question about it, but things are looking promising as we roll into tomorrow. So all in all, things are looking pretty decent as we make our way into Mother's Day weekend. So it looks like most of the active weather is staying away from us, and you certainly see a lot more in the way of moisture moving up into parts of eastern Canada and ultimately Atlantic Canada. But across the west, we've got ourselves that warm air moving in from the Pacific, pushing its way into Saskatchewan, the coldest air making its way out. So let's take a look at our numbers again, just to recap. We've got ourselves 8 degrees in Saskatoon and the Battleford, 6 in Prince Albert. The hot spot in the province, well, that was Waseca. Stony Rapids, the cold spot. And you may recall yesterday, the numbers were 10 and minus 10. Yeah, same numbers, but, or pretty much the same numbers, but different locations for the hot and cold spot. Currently, it is 8 degrees in Lloydminster, 7 in Swift Current and Moose Jaw, 6 in Regina and Estevan, and somewhat chilly 4 degrees in Yorkton. Into central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from 3 degrees in Wynyard up to 9 in Rosetown. We've got ourselves 8 degrees in a number of locations, 5 in Nipawin and Hudson Bay. Making our way up north, 0 degrees right now in Collins Bay, slightly warmer when we get to Key Lake, where it's 2, 3 in Buffalo Narrows and Stony Rapids, Sandy Bay, Island Falls, South End, it's 4 in La Ronge. And down south, any double digits? The answer is no. Leader is close at 9 degrees, but a number of places in and around that 8 or 7 degree mark, but it does cool off towards Indian Head of Melville, where it drops down to 4 degrees, just 3 degrees right now in Broadview. Brr. Okay, here we go with our futurecast. We can certainly see those white pressure lines staying fairly far apart when they get into Saskatchewan, a little closer together in Alberta, but they sort of blow themselves out by the time it gets into Saskatchewan. So not a lot in the way of active weather. We do see some spotty or scattered showers sneaking into parts of the western side of Saskatchewan late tomorrow, but we don't expect it to add up to much. Temperatures hovering around that 7 or 8 degree mark for northern Saskatchewan with a mix of sky conditions. Into west central Saskatchewan, where temperatures hover around 13 degrees, again with a mix of sky conditions, a bit more sunshine in Spiritwood. Then into mainly cloudy conditions for the southwest with 17 in Maple Creek, 16 in Leader, 13 in both Outlook and Swift Current, 13 as well in Moose Jaw, but under mainly sunny skies. And mainly sunny skies dominate the situation for the southeast, with temperatures hovering around that 11 or 12 degree mark. And into east central Saskatchewan, temperatures are slightly cooler, but not by a lot. And sunny skies in Melfort, Watrous, and Humboldt with around 10 degrees, and mainly sunny skies in Hudson Bay, also at 9 degrees. For the Battlefords, dropping down to minus 8 degrees, 13 tomorrow, so still below seasonal, but at least into double digits. 19 on Thursday, Friday 17, 14 on Saturday, Mother's Day 20, and pretty much the same case for Monday and Tuesday. For Prince Albert, clear skies, minus 6 degrees, 11 degrees with sunshine and light and variable winds tomorrow. 16 on Thursday. Friday, a chance of some showers, 13 degrees, just 12 degrees on Saturday, but jumping up to 16 degrees, which is essentially seasonal with mainly sunny skies for Mother's Day, and 19 to start the work week on Monday and Tuesday. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature dropping down to minus 6, winds out of the northwest 20, and then they back off, so less breezy conditions. Tomorrow, relatively calm conditions, light and variable winds, 13 degrees, mainly sunny skies. And then on Thursday, 18 degrees, 17 on Friday, cooling off to slightly below seasonal values on Saturday with a high of 14. But Mother's Day, mainly cloudy and 19 degrees. And to start the work week, Monday and Tuesday, mainly cloudy and 21 both days. From Beyonce to Emma Chamberlain and Canada's Hudson Williams, Met Gala guests didn't dial it down this year, showing up in costumes that turned the fashion is art dress code into a full-on showcase. The annual fashion show and fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute once again brought all the glitz and glamour. This year's exhibit, Costume Art, explores the relationship between the body and clothing, drawing connections between garments and objects through the museum's collection. I believe it's an open bar. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have settled a lawsuit brought by the actress over the filming of the 2024 romantic drama It Ends With Us. This avoids a civil trial scheduled for later this month. Lively claimed Baldoni conspired with publicists to destroy her reputation after she privately accused him of sexual harassment on set. Both Lively and Baldoni were expected to testify about Lively's allegations of sexual misconduct by Baldoni. A statement said, both sides hope the deal brings closure. And you know, hey, it's another big win for Hollywood lawyers. And some iconic jackets have now been sold for a pretty penny. The famous black leather jacket worn by George Michael in his 1987 Faith music video and during his 1988 tour sold for more than $325,000 Canadian. It was sold in the same lot as this jacket worn by Michael Jackson and this autographed Ed Sheeran jacket worn in the Shape of You music video. That one sold for $122,000 Canadian. Yikes.
Pretty penny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I heard that you were gone skiing today.
Well, sort of. Skiing season is over, but we are talking about skiing, a very special kind of skiing. Pat and Mary are with us today. And Pat, first of all, tell us the organization you're representing, because it's got a long title.
It does have a long title. The provincial organization is called Saskatchewan Ski Association. And what I do in there as a volunteer is manage the para-adaptive snow sport part. There's about 4 or 5 kinds of skiing, and the one I do kind of covers almost every one of the other ones.
All right, and I know we're launching a couple of books that deal with the adaptive skiing side of things. And Mary, you were involved in putting both of these books together. So what's the difference between the two books?
This is a book written especially for children. It focuses on the 8 Paralympic champions that we have in this province in the adaptive snow sports. And this one focuses more on the history of para-adaptive skiing and the organization with all of the builders and supporters, volunteers, as well as the athletes. So this one goes very much in depth, whereas this one is almost like a peek and have a look and see what you think for kids.
Fair enough then. And I know we're going to be speaking to the authors on Wednesday night, so in other words, tomorrow night. Pat, what time do things get rolling here on Wednesday?
Things happen at 7 o'clock at McNally Robinson's.
All right, so McNally Robinson, you can find out a little bit more about these books as well as meet the authors. So thank you both and congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Jeff, today's pick of the day involves the sky and the ground and everything in between.
It certainly does. We're going to start off with this one. This one comes from our old alumnus, Doug Podluck, a sky watcher. The Lyrid meteor shower peaked last weekend. I think this was from earlier this week. And I managed to get a couple of shots from my backyard. And so he sent us a couple, but this is the one we like the best. So thank you, Douglas. Appreciate that. Next one comes to us from Joyce out in rural Prince Albert area. New growth, fern, leafy peon, and poppies. It is a delight to see them pop out of the ground in spring. I think many people will agree with that. So thank you, Joyce. And finally from Greg, and this one's a bit on the bittersweet side. Hi, Jeff. Our beautiful lab Rio has been the subject of many picks of the day on CTV over the years. Last month, she crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Though just a dog, she was an old friend and beloved family member. And I know that many of your viewers can relate to that. And certainly they can, Greg, and we're sorry for your loss, but thank you for sharing those pictures of Rio with us over the years. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. That will give you plenty of information on how to get those pictures to us.
Still to come on CTV News, a ladies' night out hits a high note and bringing stories from the past into the present on stage.
Greetings, everyone. Humor can commonly be found within Indigenous storytelling, particularly during tales of hardships. A play is now being performed at the Regina Globe Theatre, which explores land claims and court battles from an Indigenous perspective. It's a performance which is already getting rave reviews.
If it was easy, you could just waltz into that courtroom and get the deal yourself.
This is a scene from Little Red Warrior and His Lawyer, a production now showing at Regina's Globe Theatre. The courthouse comedy mixes justice, romance, trickster mischief, and leaves no character unscathed.
Coyote is a trickster and a transformer, and so I imagined, what if the trickster transformed himself into a white man to tell a story about colonization? What would that be like? And, you know, it sort of flew from there.
Loring first started writing Little Red Warrior and His Lawyer over 25 years ago. Since then, it's gone through many revisions and updates. Louisa Jojek has been a part of the production since 2019 and says the play making the Canadian mainstream is exciting.
As an actor, I get to utilize my comedy chops, my sensitivity to political and topical issues, and not to mention it's an incredible team to be a part of.
The play has been performed across Canada and is celebrating its 100th performance this month. Despite all of the major tweaks over the years, audiences still laugh at the same parts and understand the ideas they are trying to get across.
There is humor throughout, and you never quite know where it's going to land. So I look at it as sort of the carpet can be like taken out from under your feet at any moment. Any of the characters can experience this.
Loring is an Indigenous playwright originally from British Columbia. He says it's a special moment to bring the play to the Globe Theatre and share Indigenous stories to a wider audience.
It's also critical for Indigenous people to see their stories reflected in these venues and shared within the community that they live in. I think that it's a vital role of institutions like the Globe and theaters across the country to share these Indigenous works.
Little Red Warrior and His Lawyer is being performed at the Globe Theatre until May 17th.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
When we come back, what producers interested in using strychnine need to know, and later, the ABBA-inspired night in support of Saskatoon charities.
All right, time to take a look at our rural forecast for tomorrow. So temperatures are improving. They're warming up. We've got ourselves 13 degrees in Meadow Lake, 12 in Spiritwood, 14 in Lloydminster and Kindersley, 13 as well in Outlook. A little cooler in Watrous, 11 degrees for a high. And staying at the single-digit level for Melfort, Hudson Bay, and Wynyard, all expected to be at 9 degrees tomorrow for a high. And down south, well, warming up quite nicely. Maple Creek, 17 degrees, 15 in Cypress Hills, Leader, 16. And then as we make our way eastward, temperatures do drop off a little bit, but most locations staying in the double digits, but it does drop off to 9 there in Kenora. Let's take a look at Hanley, and Hanley is expected to hit 11 degrees tomorrow, mainly sunny skies and not much in the way of wind, so a fairly pleasant day. And as we mentioned, temperatures are on the rise as we head into the weekend. And Hanley, of course, is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Online training is now open for Saskatchewan producers planning to participate in the province's strychnine stewardship program as RMs prepare to distribute it. The 90-minute course is required for producers looking to use strychnine in eligible areas under a temporary exemption to control the population of Richardson ground squirrels, also known as gophers. Participating RM officers will distribute strychnine later this spring, starting in early June, followed by additional monthly shipments with a per-producer cap. The exemption runs until November November 2027, and inventory is expected to go up in the summer. The province is increasing funding by more than $500,000 for trade and skills centres in Saskatoon and Regina. Both locations will fund 3 in-demand additional programs, which are to be determined. Both centres offer short-term trade skills programming that are meant to lead into entry-level jobs. Regina's location enrolled 174 students in 2024-25, while Saskatoon enrolled 138. A planned test of the Sask Alert system has been postponed as parts of Saskatchewan deal with flooding. A system test was scheduled to take place tomorrow at 1:55 p.m. alongside most of the other provinces. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says it's moving the test to a later date given current active incidents, but did not specify when that will be. Saskatoon's Notify Now system was tested today. Canada exported more in March than it imported, and that's a reversal from February. Morella Fernandez explains.
The trade surplus, as it's called, was about $1.8 billion in March, and it is the first one we've seen in 6 months. Exports increased 8.5%. Imports fell 1.6%. Canada exported more gold and energy to the world, with the start of the war in Iran paralyzing the Strait of Hormuz. And about $49 billion worth of cars and light trucks were sent to the U.S. in March, and that's the highest it's been in a year. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to $73.40. West Texas Intermediate down over $4 to $102.27. Western Canadian Select up over $5 to $83.88. And the TSX lost 71 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon currently $1.87.9 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.79.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $4.98. The Nutrien finished the day at $105.24. Coming up, a Saskatchewan TikToker goes from the internet to the small screen. Then a ladies' night out in Saskatoon is all about ABBA.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here tonight at 7, starting with Will Trent. Well, a Yorkton-based TikTok sensation we introduced you to earlier this year is headed to the small screen. Grandma Sherry is debuting her own show on APTN. She found success on TikTok with videos teaching her audience about cooking things like bannock and other traditional Indigenous foods, racking up millions of views. Now she'll bring that same approach to a new show spoken in Dakota, her native language. It's part of APTN's efforts to preserve and revitalize Indigenous language. The show premieres tonight on APTN Languages and through APTN Plus. So, pretty neat. All right, it was a notable night at TCU Place during the annual Silver Spoon Dinner.
Here we go.
Choir, choir, choir were the celebrity entertainers. I was honored to introduce the duo that put on the interactive ABBA show. This year's Sterling Award was given to Brittany Cafe, a local reporter with CKOM. She was honored for her work to help children with heart defects and also ensuring people with Down syndrome have support and opportunities to reach their full potential. The Silver Spoon Dinner raises money to support Congregation Agudas Israel, Ronald McDonald House, Saskatchewan, and Saskatoon Interval House. And it was so much fun. Fireside singers are up on stage dancing later in the night, and I think that's why my voice is a little bit raspy.
Now, this dancing and singing that's going on there, I assume singing, is that part of the choir wrap-up?
The wrap-up at the very end, everybody went up, but the woman that you just saw, she just wanted to come up and dance kind of at the beginning of the show, and dance she did. So
why not? Why not, indeed?
It was a good time, though.
Good time. Great to see.
Always is.
Yeah, it's considered the premier ladies' night out in Saskatoon, and it doesn't sound like it disappointed again.
Never. We were looking at all the guests over the years, and there's so many.
Yeah,
always
there's some terrific guests over the year. Quite the legacy. And it continues. And the warm-up, that continues as well. We're expecting temperatures to get up to about 13 tomorrow afternoon, 11 by 5 o'clock. But warmer conditions are in store for Thursday and Friday. And, well, maybe not so much Saturday.
We'll talk about that later. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.